The FNAF movie blew up on Twitter over the weekend because we finally started getting some production photos. But I'm more interested in what this will explain and explore in the lore. So that's what we're exploring today. Let's do it. And be sure you let me know down below what animatronic you want as your Valentine. It's Valentine's Day. Gotta open the shirt a little bit more. Chica. In a 10 arrest made. One comment that's always stuck out to me was about a newspaper clipping from FNAF 1. That clipping says that the killer was convicted for the murders of the missing children, which doesn't really make sense given that, you know, Afton's out and about in literally every other game. Unless Henry was falsely convicted, but since they couldn't find the bodies, maybe he got out of prison when Fazbear Frights happened. It explains why he wasn't involved in the first few games, to our knowledge at least, but I will say that I have heard a lot of different information and ideas concerning the missing children's incident, so can't exactly be sure what's going on. But honestly, Henry being falsely imprisoned for that incident would explain a lot. And considering how there are no bodies, there might not be much forensic evidence, so the case would rely on circumstantial, and it could have dragged on for a while, depending on how dedicated the state was to prosecuting him. Until 1993, when Fazbear Frights opened. Look, okay, 30 years is a long time for new information to come to light, and I originally thought that we would have to ignore that newspaper, but maybe the movie can explain what happened, or even it just like starts with Henry getting arrested. In at 9, Golden Freddy. While I may believe that Golden Freddy is merely a hallucination that Michael sees while being possessed by his younger brother, many believe that Crying Child possesses Golden Freddy. Some even think that Crying Child and Cassidy share the animatronic, which would be impossible if Cassidy is supposed to be possessing William, and given everything we know about possession in the games, that just kind of negates the other possibility. But if you believe that Golden Freddy is a physical animatronic possessed by Crying Child, you'll find out in the movie, because if there's no physical one, then I feel like it's kind of confirmed, alright? Plus, I don't think that Crying Child would attack his brother. If we want to say that Crying Child wouldn't be angry at his father, then I don't know why he would be mad at his brother for, you know, assuming that an animatronic won't crush his skull, because it makes sense, and especially not after all this time, because remember, FNAF 1 takes place in 1993, 10 years after his death. And at this point, Michael would have gone through Sister Location, so, you know, his insides would be all jumbled, he would be purple, and he would also kind of have the remnant of his sister on him still, so Crying Child would be like, oh, okay, so you have suffered. Who knows, okay? Either way, Golden Freddy is like such a weird animatronic that never really has a proper explanation. They crash us, he never gets a hold of us, we're not clearly dead because of him, so I just hope that they explain him in the movie, okay? Because it seems to be a pretty core premise of the series, so if they don't explain it, then I'm just gonna assume that I was right. And at 8, Springlock Suit legality. Okay, the Springlock Suits themselves are such a massive occupational hazard that Fazbear did not need to create. These things are hella deadly, and both William and Henry just allow for the employees to wear them. I get William doing it because he's a sociopath who doesn't care about anyone, but come on. Dude, Henry, you're supposed to be better. Make a separate suit for the animatronic character that's just a suit, so the employees who run your business and make you money don't end up dying from having their bones replaced with animatronic robot parts. I don't need servos in with my guts, okay? I need that my guts are supposed to be there. I'm sure it would be like a hell of a lot cheaper to make a suit too, instead of having all this complex machinery that you gotta crank. What's your deal here, man? Why did either of you think that was a good idea? And particularly Henry, okay? Please explain the justification behind this in the movie. I gots to know. I am filming this on Desperation Day, by the way. I Met Your Mother joke. And at 7, Hanging Scientists. The Sister Location Hanging Scientists weren't there before they're revealed to us, okay? We have lights on in those windows. They're trying to show us that Ennard is willing and able to kill anyone who gets in his way, but that also means that there were people working there while we were during Sister Location. And I don't know why they did that, since it was literally filled with deadly animatronics, and the only reason we were there was to put her back together, like William somehow asked us to do. But like, why were there others there? I thought the business was shut down. What's going on? Is it still running? Chica's Party World's still a thing? I don't know, man, it's weird, okay? But hey, I'm not here to judge how a fictional serial killer runs their fictional business. Actually, yes. I am. That's become the whole point of this channel now. Why would they have showed us these bodies if they also needed us to escape? Wouldn't we have just noped the hell out of there? I would. I don't care what my dad told me to do. If they're like, oh hey, by the way, I've killed 2 people, I'm leaving. And considering how this was called the Mike screenplay when Scott was talking about it on Reddit a couple of years ago, I hope that we get the answers to this question, because it doesn't make sense to me. And at 6, roaming animatronics. Okay, straight up, the whole roaming animatronics thing from FNAF 1 is such BS, and I can't can't even fathom why they thought that it would be required. That's not how servos work, okay? But whatever, Fazbear Entertainment, you do you. You can deal with OSHA, especially when they're walking around and you know that they're hostile. Phone guy warns us that they might shove us into a suit if they see us because we look like a naked endoskeleton, which is already BS. Okay, and we know that because they ignore the endo in the storage room. But like, why would you make this a part of their coding? Why would you let them roam around if they're gonna try to shove me in with robot parts? Do they look at every human they see as a naked endo? And if they do, then how are people actually showing up and not leaving in body bags, okay? God, it's only the first game. Like, for fuck's sake, people. You can't just, like, try and be a normal company for once, or maybe even just, like, have, like, the slightest hint about why anyone would be cool with this, okay? Or maybe why nobody ever reported Fazbear Inc. to, like, the labor board or something, even if it's, like, just an explanation that they got tried to but got killed before they could. Come on, put it in the movie, please. Halfway through to number 5, Brave Volunteer. I'm calling it out again, because while he might have had issues killing Afton, somehow, for whatever goddamn reason, Henry just seems fine offing his son when he gets the chance. I mean, in both of the fires that Henry set, FNAF 3 and FNAF 6, Michael was there both times. And sure, Michael might have set the FNAF 3 fire, but if Henry set the FNAF 6 one, it would make sense that he also set the FNAF 3 one. And he also didn't seem to care that Michael was in the building the first time. He also doesn't give Michael the opportunity to exit in FNAF 6, despite there having been a way out plan. Quote from the final speech in Henry's words, "And to you, my brave volunteer, who somehow found this job listing not intended for you. Although there was a way out plan for you, I have a feeling that's not what you want. I have a feeling you are right where you want to be." No, I'm not. I want to live. He assumes that we want to die in these halls for whatever reason, and he doesn't give us a chance to actually make the decision for ourselves. He just like forces us to die. It's a crime. But again, he doesn't give us the option, which I would like explained in the movie. Please, explain to me how this isn't just a murder. Just the slightest crumbs so I can run with it for 4 more years. In it for Domino. During the true ending of Security Breach, or the Afton ending, the Burn Trap ending, whatever you want to call it, how does this happen so perfectly? Like, there's beyond even plot armor levels of luck here, okay? We're basically Domino. It's the very easy to understand monitor setup in the room that we fall into that's connected to the cameras in various rooms that Burn Trap enters, and ironically, he only enters those rooms with buttons that light the fires in the rooms that correspond to the monitor the button is in front of. Think about it. How are these working? It's been a while. It's been a long time. These cameras and old computers are still working for who knows how long after FNAF 6 to Security Breach. It's been through a lot, alright? It's been through the fire that ruined the building. It's fallen into a sinkhole that opened up beneath it. It's had a whole mall, pizzaplex, Chuck E. Cheese fever dream built on top of it. How is all of this working after that? I get this like later in the timeline, but please have like Henry planning out the FNAF 6 location fire thing or something, okay, so I can understand how this was all so well preserved. Getting close to the end of number 3, Security Puppet. Now, this might be a controversial topic, but in my humble opinion, if you're suspicious of your business partner and concerned for your daughter's well-being and even life, you don't just give her a special bracelet that makes her a priority to your one security robot and then leave her alone, alright? Especially when that security bot can be disabled by simply placing a couple of boxes on top of its box. You keep her home as much as you can, or like keep an eye on her. Like, you don't like lock her in the house, but you don't let a 3-year-old run around next to your homicidal partner. And you should be doing that anyway. Like, you should be keeping an eye on her anyway, because, you know, she's 3 years old. You don't give her a bracelet then let her run amongst the big kids at a pizza place where she's locked outside and then killed. No. Okay, how did she even get locked outside? How is that possible? How could that even happen? She can't reach the doorknob, for God's sakes. Neglectful. You're neglectful, okay? Henry puts a green bracelet on his 3-year-old and says, yeah, that's enough, I'm good, and then neglects her, hoping that the green bracelet's going to be enough. Bro, what the hell? Especially when the man that you think is going to hurt her is the one who built the goddamn animatronics in the first place and then knows exactly how to disable them when the time comes. Think things through for once. This is also in the right time frame for the movie as well, so please explain what Henry was thinking when he just left his daughter alone with a serial after giving a new slap bracelet. But ultimately, in at number 2, Scraptrap. Also, what happened to Scraptrap between games to cause such significant changes in his design? Sure, he was burnt in FNAF 3, kind of, but we also see him alive and well in sister location's ending cutscene not damaged or barely damaged, so where did all this additional changes come from? His head gets larger, his feet get larger. I genuinely don't know how that would make any sense. Okay, we know that it's the same person. It's not someone new thanks to Ultimate Custom Night. In a previous video, I talked about how FNAF 4 is a game made by Scott Cawthon's in-universe version, and then that would thus mean that any character appearing in Ultimate Custom Night would also be fake. I hope you get what I mean. If you haven't, check out the video. I explain it way better there. I'm not going crazy. It makes me think that Springtrap is probably less than real. He's probably fake. He's faker than Glitchtrap, of all things. And you know what? It explains the discrepancy between Springtrap to Scraptrap and then Burntrap, and then I just want an explanation in the movie, okay? I'm rambling. Let's move on. And finally, in number 1, evil programming. Have you ever thought about why these animatronics are attacking you? Like, really? Because, like, sure, it's because we look like William and the animatronics are possessed and they're trying to get revenge or whatever, but if I was possessing something and going after the guy that I thought killed me, I'd get pretty steamed if he kept shutting a door in my face every time I got close to enacting my revenge. But if that kept happening, do you know what I would do? I wouldn't do the same thing. I would change things up. I would go down a different path. I'd break in through the back window. But nobody does that in FNAF 1. Bonnie, Chica, Freddy, they all stick to their same paths every time that they come after us, which makes me think that they aren't doing it because they want revenge. They're doing it because they have to. No, repeated patterns and inability to adapt might work with my brain, but it doesn't work with possessed animatronics. No, it's their programming. They're doing what they're told. They're following the same route every time. That's what code does. Angry spirits possessing robots would be adapting, even if they're kids. They've been possessing them long enough in 1993. So, I don't know, maybe to make this a possible point of interest in the movie, please, for God's sakes, I just want all these things explained in the movie. But that's not all there is to know. You should click on the video that's about to pop up if you want to know the rest. Happy Valentine's Day.